Alright, welcome back to another Slay the Spire 2 run. Today we're going to try to ascend a little bit with the Defect. We haven't played a lot of Defect yet. We've done a couple of runs, a claw run, a focus run, but I haven't really gotten deep into the character yet. Nor do I have a good idea of what cards are actually good. So we're just kind of got to go ahead, try some things out, see if we can actually finish a run or, yeah, just see where we end up. All right, let's get going. All right, for our first relic here, so we could either transform a card. That's not too bad. We can get rid of one of the strikes. Hopefully replace it with something useful. We can upgrade one of our strikes and one of our defense. That's not bad at all. And looking at this map, we are definitely not going this way. There's way too many hallway fights here. Taking 6 of them in a row is definitely something we want to avoid. So yeah, these ones we're not gonna do. So I'm kind of looking at the left side here, which would be a fight, an event, another fight, an event. Then we would probably take a little detour here. And then we could consider fighting an elite. And fighting an elite that early in the run, I would definitely want stronger cards than just my starting deck. We could get another fight in here to get another card potentially. Then go through here. And then probably go to the right. Then either pick up some cards or get to a shop and then do something like this. But considering we're taking on a very early elite, I think I'm actually going to upgrade one of each. That'll just give us some early game power. And later on, we're probably not going to be removing all the strikes, so we'll have an upgraded strike and an upgraded defend in our deck. That's not awful. Adding an injury to our deck this early on I think that will just hamstring us way too hard in the early game. So we're going to go for Niao's Talisman here. And then let's clean this all up. And once again, we are going to go to the left. Start out here. Most likely we'll take a right here and then see where we can go from there. All right, let's see what we got here. The Nibbit, and again, already with our upgraded defend, we can just play 2 defense and then already get some damage in. So next turn we're going to only draw a single defend, but the Nibbit will also not hit quite as hard. Just gonna hit for 6. We can deal 9 plus 16, 25. Not enough to kill it, unfortunately, so we're going to take 8 damage here. Then we're just gonna zap and strike plus. And then we're just gonna strike plus and strike and zap. And then next turn we can kill it off. All right. Let's see what we have here. Getting a turbo this early is not the best. We're gonna want to pick up one eventually. Just helps with energy management. It would allow us to play our entire hand whenever we draw it. And subsequent turns would just get significantly weaker because we might draw into the void. That being said, well, Sweeping Beam isn't bad. Having a little bit of AoE potential in drawing a card, but definitely falls off a little in the late game, I would think. So I'm thinking we're going to pick up a turbo here. Hitting a shop this early on, not bad at all. We have 107 gold. Let's see here. We would be able to remove a card, which isn't bad, just getting rid of one of the strikes. And then maybe we can get a focus strike in here. I don't think that's awful at all. Getting some focus early on with strike removed from our deck will, yeah, I think that's just what we're going to do. We're going to get rid of one of the strikes. And we're going to replace it with a Focus Strike. So just a pretty strong upgrade to a regular strike. And then we'll see what we have here. A couple of slimes. Shouldn't have too much trouble with those. We're going to get hit for 7 here. So 1 defend will take care of that. Therefore, no reason to play the turbo here. We're just going to zap. And then we're going to Focus Strike one of them. If we Focus Strike this one, there's a decent chance we're going to hit it with one of our lightnings. And because we gain 1 focus, they'll hit for 4. So, yeah, perfect. This one is going to attack us for 4, this one for 8, so we can simply do something like this. And here we can just go ahead and play one of the slimed, play zap and strike. And then this turn we should be able to kill it easily. Yeah, I'm just gonna Focus Strike, strike, done. Alright, we do not have any powers right now, so I don't think we want to pick up the Storm. Compile Driver isn't bad. Right now we can only channel Lightning. But after that, like, eventually we're going to pick up some other... we're going to pick up a couple of other orbs, probably. And then once we start drawing 2 from that, it's already worth it. Momentum Strike right now is a strong strike. We don't have a lot of attacks in the deck right now, but I think if we pick up Compile Driver, we're happy with that. Alright, let's see what we got here in this event. The Brain Leech. A sharp pain is felt atop your head and a thought stabs into your mind. Share knowledge? You're unsure how to proceed. We're going to choose 1 of 5 random cards to add to our deck. Ooh, this is nice. I am interested in a couple of things. The Hyper Beam early on just ends combats against some of the hallway fights. And if we end up running into the Decimillipede in Act 2, this thing just decimates that enemy, which is why I'm very interested in this. Tempest, very interesting with a turbo. A turn where we can turbo into Tempest is just a lot of damage straight away, which also works reasonably well with the Focus Strike, gaining some focus and then going into Tempest. Go for the Eyes is also good. Just a lot of good options here. I think just because this is very strong in the early game and we have not yet committed to anything that is like strong on the focus. Yeah, we have these, but I think we're just going to take the Hyper Beam as kind of a thing that will end early game combats. I don't know if we're going to be interested in upgrading it, but for now I think it's just a very strong option. How ostentatiously scholastic of a labyrinthine mind, a veritable cornucopia of cerebral sustenance to digest. Satisfied, the creature pops off and crawls away. You are flabbergasted. I sure am. Yeah, we have a decent deck so far. We're just gonna take another event here. Yeah, this is entirely useless. Hitting 2 shops in these events. Very unlucky, honestly. Like, we can't do anything here, so we're just kind of skipping a card reward that we would have easily gotten, I think. Very unfortunate. This means we're probably also... We might be skipping this shop up here. We'll see how much money we can collect until then. Can we afford anything? No, we cannot afford anything, so we're just gonna get right out of here, and we're gonna take on this elite. The Burdonis... So, we could start by losing some focus straight away, but maybe this is more something we should do as a little finisher. So we're just gonna block most of this damage, Focus Strike, and yeah. We do want to pick up some stronger block cards. We're going to be taking some damage here. Yeah. So we are going to draw a card, and whatever we draw, we're going to be able to play with the turbo. So that's what we're going to do. Not ideal, but that's okay. We're going to evoke, going to zap, going to turbo, going to strike plus, and going to defend, taking another chunk of damage here. Alright, another big hit coming up. We can block 10, take 9, and I think then we're just going to zap. We don't want to risk drawing into the void, so we're just gonna defend, zap. And then soon we are going to get into hyper beam range, so that's kind of what we're going for. Bring it down to 26 or so, and then hyper beam it. Not gonna happen here, unfortunately. We're not going to be able to block a lot of damage here. Yeah, our defense are a little lacking. Next turn, we're going to draw into the void and the turbo, though. So that's not awful at all. How much damage are we dealing here? If we strike, focus, strike, dual cast, how much damage is that? That is 9. If we focus strike, that's another 9 for 18. Birdonis will go down to 22. With an upgraded dual cast... well, with an upgraded dual cast, that is going to be 9, 18, and another 4. I think that should be enough. So we're going to go strike, focus strike, dual cast, and then luckily the lightning will finish it off. So very clean. Reasonably clean. Took a little bit of damage there, but we do gain the anchor. That should help with just not taking too much damage on the very first turn. I'm interested in the glass work. Gaining a little bit of block, getting a glass, gaining that glass will work well with our compiled driver. We might be able to capitalize on the focus strike. So yeah, we're definitely going to take a glass work here. Then we're going to take a rest, but I think I'm just going to smith something. We have some options here. We have plenty of energy. I think I'm just going to upgrade the glass work so that we just have a little bit of extra block. The legends were true. Entering into a pitch-dark chamber, a sudden light pierces the darkness from above, just as the door slams behind you. Illuminated before you appears to be a podium with a map on it. You feel compelled to take it. Suspicious. We can receive the spoils map. Unfortunately, that will gunk up our deck for quite a while. Yeah. I think we're just gonna take 8 and get a potion. Essence of Darkness, Channel of Dark for each of your orb slots. That's gonna be useful. You sneak around the dark, looking for a way out the room. The room starts to violently shake. With a sudden crash, the entire chamber collapses around you. Barely making it out of the rubble, you find a vial of something useful that must have been hidden in the room. Let's see what we're getting here. The Eternal Feather. For every 5 cards in your deck, heal 3 HP whenever you enter a rest site. Useful. A little sad that we have 14 as we enter this rest site. But that is what we're going to do. That'll put us to 37. Do we feel brave enough to smith another card? I don't think so. I think we're just going to take a rest here. Play it a little safe. And then we're gonna just kind of sneak around, take on another elite, and then see if we can deal with the boss here. Okay, the fuzzy worm crawler. We can just defend and focus strike and strike. We can draw some cards. It's not super useful right now because, I mean, we could be drawing into the turbo. That would allow us to play some defense, but nothing interesting. So I think we're just gonna go for compiled driver. Strike and strike. And then this turn, can just dual cast. At the start of your turn, trigger the passive ability of your rightmost orb. That's interesting. I think I will take a single chill. That way we'll be able to have a frost and a lightning and a glass, which will help us draw 3 cards with our compiled driver. So, yeah. Then we have a decision to make. We do not have enough money to remove another card from our deck. So I think we're just gonna take a right here. Yeah. The bird on his nest. You spot an enormous shambling beast chase off an injured green bird. In the alcove, the bird fled from a single unguarded egg. In the alcove, the bird fled from a single unguarded egg lies abandoned. Your stomach gurgles. Do we want the Birdonis egg in our deck? We could hatch it at the rest site, but I think we're just gonna eat it. You crack the egg open and gobble it up. Good breakfast. Sorry, little bird. Oof, we're getting all the, the sunken statue. You spot an aged statue half submerged in a pond. Its hands gently rest atop a stone sword. Something is also glittering at the bottom of the pond. Votive offerings, perhaps? You could really use some money. We are going to take the money here. The sword of stone will transform into a relic that gives us strength. I don't think we are going to be in a build that where the strength would be particularly useful. So I think we're just going to take some damage here, gain some gold. You plunge deep into the water. While collecting the offerings, you hear a dull echo and you're struck by stones. Once you surface, you see that the old statue had crumpled due to your disturbance, physical and spiritual. And then we're going to take on this elite. We have a couple of potions, and we might use them against this. Okay, this is actually very interesting, because here I can chill to gain a frost. I can turbo to gain some energy. I can then compile driver, but first I think I'll just zap. Then I will compile driver to draw 2 cards. Sadly, we drew our defense here. That is very unfortunate. If we'd drawn better here, we could have dealt a good amount of damage. Now we'll just have to see that we draw back into some defense for the attacky turns of the statue. So here, I think we're just gonna gain some focus. Probably dual cast and glasswork. And then next turn we will draw 2 defense, so that'll block some of the damage. So yeah, let's focus strike. Should have actually glassworked first, but that's okay. We'll dual cast now, and then glasswork. Alright, taking 23 here, but we did draw into a turbo. And yeah, we're just going to play that just to get as much defend and also attack as possible here. Hopefully we're not going to draw into the void next turn and just finish this fight as quickly as possible. We're going to take 3 here. That is perfectly acceptable. And I will not hesitate to use the fire potion. Okay, wonderful. We did not draw into a void. So what can we do here? If we focus strike, we're gonna deal some damage. We can block. We can also just hyper beam. It'll go down to 22. And then if we strike and throw a fire potion, I don't think we can actually deal enough damage to kill it outright. So we might as well just hyper beam and strike and then throw a fire potion at it. That was very clean. Stable Serum, happy to pick that up. The first time you play a power, each combat gains 7 block. Unfortunately, we have not picked up any powers yet, but maybe... no. Sadly, no. I think we're gonna take 1 go for the eyes. Inflicting weak is something we definitely want to be able to do. We can't do it right now. We are up against an enemy that is going to do at least 1 turn of multi-attacks. So yeah, gonna go for the eyes, take the permafrost, and hopefully soon we'll be able to pick up a power. And then here we're gonna upgrade something. I think we're gonna upgrade go for the eyes. 2 turns of weak. That is definitely something we like. It is somewhat conditional on the enemy attacking, but I think we'll probably have it a lot of the time when we need it. And right now we can also retain it with a stable serum, so that's good. All right, let's go to the boss. The Phantom. The Phantom has 9 stacks of slippery, so we are not going to deal a lot of damage early on. So we're kind of just trying to get rid of those, and then it will get progressively stronger attacks that we have to deal with. Here we don't have to block at all because of our anchor. So we're just going to try to deal as much damage as possible. I don't want to do the hyper beam yet, because obviously we're going to lose all of our focus. We do not want that. I'll start with compile driver, I think, because we want to play attacks anyway. Might as well see what we get. And we get go for the eyes. That's actually great. That's a good draw here. So we're going to go for the eyes, focus strike, and strike. We're not dealing any damage yet, but we're going to deplete these charges fairly quickly and not take a lot of damage in the process, because now it's still weak for its multi-attack. Meaning that we basically only need the glass work, which also sets up some glass. So that's great. And then we're just going to strike, I think. We might also zap. Yeah, I think just zapping here and striking, because we're not dealing damage, and this will just deplete those charges outright this turn. Now we're going to get a big hit. But we can defend adequately well here. I think I will just chill, get that frost going. That will also push the glass to the front, so we might be able to still trigger it. Yeah. We might also consider actually using the Essence of Dark here. So we could go chill. And now there is a consideration to use the Essence of Dark to push all of these out to gain more block, deal some damage, and then charge up those dark orbs every turn. I might want to wait with that until we've cast Compile Driver one more time, but definitely interesting. We're not going to be dual casting this turn, so we're always going to defend. We only take 9. I think I'm just going to try this. So we're only going to take 4 damage. These dark orbs are going to charge up every turn. And then we just need to channel them out at some point. Unfortunately, the enemy is not attacking this turn, and we drew our go for the eyes. Very unfortunate. This is a bad draw right now. However, it is probably worth retaining, just so we have to go for the eyes for the attack turns. So we're just going to strike here, and then we're going to retain. Not going to use Hyper Beam now, because it will just absolutely demolish our dark damage. I'm going to take 9 this turn. We are going to go for the eyes. I guess we are going to, let's see, we take 6 this turn. We could do glass work, push out one of the dark orbs, deal 18. I think that's probably worth. And then we're going to strike and strike. We're going to retain this hand again. Unfortunately, we have the wounds, but that's fine. Not doing anything bad. They're just gunking up our hand a little bit. Okay. So here, we can draw 2 cards. So we're going to start with a turbo. What cards are we actually drawing into? Zap and Focus Strike, that should be good. So we can do turbo. Then we can dual cast for a total of 48 damage. That is pretty nice, but first, if we can, we do want to Focus Strike. So we'll Focus Strike, Now I will dual cast, dealing 48. And now, is this enough to kill the enemy? We'll deal 26, and then we'll do a little bit of glass, but not enough to actually kill it. So instead, we should just play it safe and play defend and defend to block all of this damage, and then next turn, hopefully we'll draw into a way to trigger our Dark Orb or otherwise deal enough damage to kill it. Is that the smartest thing we can do here? I think so. So we're just gonna... Alternatively, we could zap. I think we're going to zap, actually. That'll make it easier to push out the Dark Orb, because we only need to channel any orb to basically kill it. And we're only going to take a small hit here. Unfortunately, we drew the Void, but I think with these two and the damage, is that enough? That should be enough to kill it. Yeah, now we're going to deal 3 and 4. Good, clean Bantam fight here. We are not interested in picking up another Hyper Beam. Shatter, potentially, all for 1. Yeah, well... I think when we ate the bird on his egg, we relinquished our claim to the all for 1. Because we're not going to get the bird on his strike. We didn't pick up any claws. We didn't pick up the sword. So I think that's just not going to happen. I think I might pick up the shatter. That way we definitely have a way to easily clear out multi enemy encounters. Here we are in Act 2. Let's have a look at what relic we are being offered. Pale the Melting Dragon. Troubled automaton looking for a friend? Let me help. We can gain Pale's Flesh, gain additional energy at the start of your 3rd turn and every turn after that. That is fantastic. We can sacrifice card rewards to Pale, and every 2 sacrifices we obtain a relic. That's also not bad. At some point we're just going to skip most card rewards, and then gaining relics from that is definitely useful. Pale's Legion doubles block gained from a card, then goes to sleep for 2 turns. Also very useful just to be a little safer, but I think we are interested in gaining some energy now. So we are going to go for Pale's Flesh. Alright, we have a lot of money and I see some early shops. So let's just chart a course through here and see what is going to be the best way. The right path already disqualified. We're going to be hitting 3 enemies very early on, and once you hit the 3rd enemy in Act 2, you're going to draw from a stronger pool of enemies. Doing that very early on, and then potentially having to do another fight or an elite fight, not really what I'm looking for, and then the path forward also doesn't look great. This would be the best thing forward, or like the least dangerous thing. I don't think so. Let's have a look at the left, shall we? So we go, have a fight, go here, and then we can hit a shop, and then we can actually think about hitting another shop. We have enough money for 2 card removals, and I do want to pick up a couple more cards potentially from the shop. We could do an elite fight. We kind of at this point we want to face the Decimillipede, because we can shatter and hyper beam it just out of existence probably. Do another fight, pick up a relic. Do another elite fight, but we do have an opportunity to rest there. But that definitely puts us into 2 elite fights without a chance of getting out of that. Is there a way to opt out and still potentially do 2 elite fights? There is not. So we're just gonna have to see how the first couple fights go. I am generally interested in taking on 2 elites, and I think we are reasonably well equipped to handle most of them, but the Act 2 elites are definitely pretty rough. But let's just see what we get here. 2 bowl bugs, 1 rock, 1 nectar. We want to just kind of block this entire turn. Gonna be pretty easy. They're gonna hit me for 18, but I can go for the eyes here. Now it's just 14, and then we'll just defend and defend. Oh, I didn't even need to defend that much, but I mean, we didn't have anything else to do. So we're gonna block all of this damage. We're just gonna hit it. This one will be stunned when we block all of its incoming damage. So that takes care of that. Okay. Actually, we can just, since they're not doing anything now, we might as well do something like this. We're going to do glasswork. Then we are going to compile driver. I will turbo. I will shatter. I'll hyper beam. This is kind of what we're looking for these types of fights. For longer fights, like for boss fights, this is not going to work, but anything that is like a smaller fight like this is going to be great. Heart of Iron, very happy to pick that up. Just a little bit of extra survivability against one of the elite fights. I will definitely pick a Leap Plus. It being already upgraded is helping us a huge deal. 12 block is yeah, that's great. Alright. Moving on. Oh, it's Wongos. We love Wongos here. Let's see. Welcome to Wongos. We have what you want at wongtastic prices, says the least enthusiastic clerk you've ever met. Peruse our wares and enjoy our time at Wongos, they continue, without even looking up. We can pay 100 gold to gain a common relic. We can gain the unsettling lamp for 200. Not interested. I don't want to pay 300 to Wongo. We're going to pay 100 and hopefully we're going to get a good relic. We got the bronze scales. That's not awful. The bronze scales, especially against multi-attacks, can really deal a lot of damage to enemies. So not great, but not awful either. We are Wongo wowed by your generosity. Wonderful patron, you now have 96 Wongo points. With just 1,904 more points, you will receive our exclusive Wongo Customer Appreciation Badge. Have a wongtastic day. You have no clue what they are talking about and vow to never return to a Wongos. Delightful. We still have not picked up a power. That is a little unfortunate. We definitely want to pick up a power just because of the permafrost, basically. Are we skipping the shop now? I don't think we're skipping the shop. We're gonna hit the shop. Let's have a look here. There's a power, but it only works with other powers, so not great. We do like an oddly smooth stone. It just makes everything just a little smoother, you know? If we pick up the oddly smooth stone, are we buying anything else here? Do we pick up a lightning rod? I don't think we would. We cannot afford the dark shackles. We could afford another leap, but I'm not super interested in that. I don't really want to pick up a storm. We don't have any other powers. That's just a bad idea. I think we might just actually remove a strike from our deck here. We have 115 gold. If we move on to the next shop, there is a very low chance that we're going to have enough gold to remove another card. We need 125 for that. That's probably not going to happen. None of these are very interesting. FTL is fine, but we're not doing any zero attack stuff, so it's not very exciting. The potions aren't too interesting, so I think we're just going to move on and hope we get something in the next shop, and then we're going to hit this elite. It's a slippery bridge. I hate this slippery bridge. While crossing a rickety wooden bridge is a sudden torrent of rain, massive gusts of wind buffet you, threatening to end your journey. We do not want to remove Turbo from our deck. We don't want to remove Compile Driver from our deck. We're probably going to be here a little while and take a good amount of damage. What would we be okay with losing? Maybe the Compile Driver is okay to lose. Maybe we have to lose the Compile Driver. And just be a little sad about that. Yeah. Let's see what we can buy instead. We probably want to grab a cool-headed here. Yep. I think a cool-headed would be reasonable. We keep getting storm. If we'd picked up all the storms we've gotten now, we would have. It would have been fine. But yeah, no. Do we want a hot fix? Gain 2 focus and exhaust. Don't think that's particularly useful. It's good on the like a shatter turn, but the moment we use hyper beam, our orbs are becoming virtually useless, even with the hot fix. So I think we're just gonna save our money here and move on. Do we want to take on 2 elites? We're not like massively strong against single big enemies, but if we hit the decimillipede, we're probably gonna be fine. I am going to risk it. We're going to get a reward in between. We're going to have one more fight, and we will have a chance to rest before. And right now we have a good amount of HP. The Entomancer might give us some trouble, but for now we can just chill. We already have 10, so that'll put us at 12. We need a total of 21. So we can just glasswork. Sleep. Do we want to strike? That will put a dazed into our deck. How many more attacks are we going to do? We're definitely going to be use go for the eyes. We might use a shatter, and we are going to use this strike probably. So I think I'm actually going to skip the strike. This is, by the way, a good example of where the thorns are really, really powerful. This enemy is going to hit us 7 times, deal no damage to us, but take 21 damage in the process. So I think we can really skip the strike and hope that it just kills itself while we try to keep our block up. A little sad that we drew our best block cards in the opening hand. And now all we have left is 3 defense. And the go for the eye, so we might be using our Heart of Iron in this fight. Yeah. 18 this turn. We can defend. Cool-headed. If we shatter, we will evoke all of our orbs. We'll gain a little more block. Then I could actually do a cool-headed now. Then we can shatter, or rather we can focus strike and then shatter. Dealing 20. So this will give us 10 block. We can gain 15. Yeah, that's probably fine. So we'll evoke all of our orbs. Be left without any orbs. But that's probably okay. And then this turn... 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Are we okay with giving up on our orbs? I kind of am. We're not going to get a whole lot of stuff here, so we're just going to zap, dual cast, and then hyper beam. Next turn we're gonna have a lot of dazed in our deck, but it's gonna attack. We're gonna go for the eyes, and I think next turn it should do another multi-attack. So we should be okay. Yep. Very good to have drawn into 2 defensive cards here. So we're just gonna go for the eyes. And then block most of the incoming damage. And once again, it's going to take a total of 21 thorns damage here. And then hopefully next turn, maybe we can draw into like a hyper beam, shatter to end this. The zap is not doing a whole lot for us. We're going to do 9 plus 11. So yeah, unfortunately the zap is actually no longer enough to deal enough damage, because with -3 focus it's just gonna deal 0. And we only have... If we evoke it though, let's see. Okay, yeah, actually we can evoke it for 5, and that is enough to kill it. Very, very clean. Very happy with that. Okay, we have to pick up a power now. We really want a power. These are not powers. We could have our compile driver back. I think that's fine. I think that's what we're going to go for. But we do want to add a power to our deck as soon as possible. Here we have the tunneler. Yeah, I'll go for the eyes. Do I already hyper beam it? No, I don't think so. We're just gonna go for the eyes. I'll focus strike. I'll defend. I'll chill. And then just say go. We can draw 2 cards here. And then what else are we doing here? Let's see. We want the lightning to the front and the frost to the back. So we're probably going to be zapping before we're cool heading. So we're probably going to start with compile driver, then going to zap cool headed turbo, see what else we draw here. So let's go with that. Unfortunately, we only got more defensive cards, not really what we're looking for. But that's fine. We're going to zap. And I guess we can actually just skip the turbo then, because we're not going to need any block. We're just going to do glass work, I think. Do we even want the glass work? Do we want more frost? I think we're just going to want a little more frost. We already had our compile driver, so let's just do that. Get some frost to the front in case we need it. The next turn, if need be, we can dual cast it, but probably with the leap we're going to have enough. So, yeah. Alright, attacking for 23, can we deal 32 somehow? This is 11, 19, no, I don't think so. So we're gonna gain 4, 12, that's 24, that's plenty. Do we want to shatter, though? No real reason to. I think we can just do this. Take no damage here. Just whittle away at the block and then just see where we end up. Okay, 23 again. We're gonna gain 4, 12, and with a focus strike and a dual cast, we're always gonna have enough, and we can potentially even get it out of. Let's gain the focus first. If we shatter, we're gonna deal 20. That's enough to bring it out. But then we can't dual cast, but we also don't need to dual cast. I think we're just gonna chill again. We're not gonna take any damage, so why would we even bother? Unless... No. Let's just not bother with it. We can just bring it out next turn. It's not gonna get any stronger while it's down there, so we might as well just wait. We can compile driver, we have a turbo, so we can maybe deal a little bit of damage here. We don't have any voids in the deck, so yeah, let's just start with a compile. Then we can... Once again, not a lot we can do here. We can glass work, and we can zap, gain a little bit of lightning, and strike. And once again, not bother with the turbo. And then we can just end it with the hyper beam. Nice and clean. Snecko Oil, draw 7 cards, randomize the cost of cards in your hand this turn. This is gonna be a panic button, and that's it. Once again, unfortunately we did not get any power, but the cool-headed upgraded is definitely good enough. We still have a very slim deck. We have a lot of card draw already with 2 cool-headeds. Well, not a lot of card draw, but a little bit. We have a compile driver, we have 2 cool-headeds. So yeah, let's see what we get here. The Bag of Preparation, that is actually very good. We don't have that much energy on the first turn, but just having more options on turn 1 is just very, very, very useful. No, I did it again. Oh, why did I do it again? Oh, fuck me. Oh, thank fucking Christ. Okay. Ah! You didn't see anything. We looted this. Nothing happened. Everything is fine. Don't worry about it. Jesus Christ. Anyway, moving on. Okay, unfortunately we got a hallway fight here, but that's fine. Wish we didn't have him go for the eyes here. This is just a disaster of a draw here. Let's just see what we can get. We can chill. Yeah, we're gonna need some block potentially, so we're just gonna get all of that to the front, and then we're just gonna go for the eyes, and that's it, unfortunately. We have been tenderized. Whenever we play a card, we lose a strength and a dexterity this turn. Not as bad for the defect, because our frost will provide a good amount of block, which is then unaffected by any dexterity. But we still have to be careful how we're gonna sequence our turns here, because we are going to want to block this damage, and we're not too upset if we don't deal a whole lot of damage this turn. So I think what we're going to do is we are going to start with Compile Driver, see if we can potentially get like the Glassworks for a bit of a draw. We might Focus Strike, and we might Dual Cast to get the Frost out. So let's start with this. We can Cool-Headed, channel another Frost, push one of the Frosts out. Not super interesting, because we're not going to be able to play whatever we can draw here. So I think we're just gonna Focus Strike. And then Dual Casting will gain us 12 block. Plus another 3 is 15, so we're gonna take a small hit. Yeah, these regular enemies are getting a little strong. But it is what it is. Once again, we could Focus Strike, Glasswork, defend. Gain some focus, gain some block. That's 13. Yeah, that's enough block. That's plenty of block. So let's just Focus Strike. Yep, that is more than enough. And we're slowly but surely whittling it down here. Can deal 26 here. But I think we're just gonna be pushing out the Frost, draw some cards. We want to Compile Driver. We're gonna be able to draw into our Turbo and into the Go for the Eyes, so that's gonna be good. We're gonna start with Compile. That's perfect. That is actually ideal. We don't care much about the damage for Go for the Eyes. We're just gonna count on Lightning and Glass to just kind of whittle it down, plus our Thorns. So instead we're just gonna try to block as much as possible. And we're gonna go for the Eyes. Gonna take 15. So we need a 1 more. We just need to channel one of those Frosts. Yeah, we're gonna Turbo. Cool-Headed. And then we can Zap. Do we Hyper Beam here? We're going to deal 20. I don't think so. I don't think that is necessary. We might as well play another Cool-Headed. And then just strike for a minuscule amount of damage. Down to 20. Now all we need is our Hyper Beam or something like that. We're going to start with our defense, and then we're just going to play Go for the Eyes. Make it weak. And that is all that we need, so we can just strike here. We got the Void, and no way to deal damage this turn. So yeah, let's start with a Cool-Headed. And then we can just Shatter, and that ends it. Still no power. I'm not really interested in any of these right now. Uproar is fun if you just have Uproar as the attack in your deck. But we have a bunch of attacks. If we'd gotten an Uproar very early on and then we got another Uproar, we could kind of infinite combo, but we're just gonna skip here. Gonna take a Campfire. We are gonna Smith here. We healed a good amount, so let's see what we can do here. Probably just the other Cool-Headed. another way to just cycle through our deck a little quicker is going to be appreciated, especially with a deck as small as this. We will always be able to find our Hyper Beam and our Shatter for AoE, or go for the eyes for, yeah, so we should be able to cycle through that. And here we do have the Decimillipede. Let's see if I end up being right about the Decimillipede fight with our setup. We definitely want to chill. That's just 6 block each turn, plus 12 is 18. And we could dual cast to block all of the incoming damage probably. So let's start with a chill. Deal a little bit of damage to the first Decimillipede. We're always gonna only be able to draw a single card here, so I think we're just gonna leave 22, and we're gonna be at a total of another 628. So already we are blocking all of the damage here. So we might as well compile driver, and then focus strike. And now, if we happen to draw into the Hyper Beam and the Shatter next turn, this fight is just gonna be over. And we did. So we can do 19, 20. Oh, it's actually not quite enough, because we have been weakened this turn. But if we evoke all of our orbs, how much? That is 15 block. We're going to take a little bit of damage here if we do that. Is that worth it? Let's see. We did 8. We did 27. This one will kill itself. This one will actually be dead, so that should actually be okay. We're going to take a small hit, but I think it's still our best option, right? 8 plus 19 is 27, yeah. So first we evoke all the orbs to actually gain the effect, and then we're going to Hyper Beam. This one will kill itself, this one will survive, so we're going to take 5 this combat. And then it should be no problem whatsoever to kill this one off. Or is it? No, it might be. It actually might be. We have cool-headed though. So I think what we're gonna do is we're gonna just go for the eyes. Cool-headed. Yeah, and then we can Shatter again. Very, very, very clean Decimillipede fight. Very happy with that. Whenever you enter a question mark room, heal 5 HP. Very useful, so that we never have to take a rest. Oh, a power. This is actually really good. We want powers. As we already said, we have 2 things like, okay, the Hailstorm, yeah, it's already going to be upgraded because of the Frozen Egg. We have Frost with some frequency, which helps us just deal a little bit more AoE damage. And when we played, we gained 7 block. So it is already the first time we played better than any of our regular defend cards. Very happy with picking up 1 Hailstorm. Alright, we have another hallway fight. The Louse Progenitor. Let's see here. We can do the Hailstorm thing already. We can block all the damage, no problem. So let's just start by drawing 2 cards. And I think we're just gonna set up our whole 3 orb thing. Plus the Hailstorm. More than enough defense for this turn. And then, yeah, the Hyper Beam now is definitely falling off a little, but I'm sure it will still have its uses. Not a lot we can do to do this combat. We're going to dual cast just to deal as much damage as possible. We're going to strike. Yeah, now it's curling up. Doesn't really matter. And yeah, we're just going to defend. Say go. Not going to be a very strong turn next turn. But that's okay. We're just going to go for the eyes. We're going to get rid of our chill, and then we're just going to defend all of the damage. Now we're no longer frail, so that's good. We're going to play the cool-headed. We're gonna go for the eyes. We are going to channel the glasswork, blocking all the damage, and then we're gonna focus strike and strike. Deal a little bit of damage. So right now we don't really have a lot of like burst damage outside of the hyper beam and the shatter, but I also don't think that we necessarily need it. Don't really want to shatter here. There's very, very little we can actually do here. Do we want to hyper beam now? So this would deal 37, but next turn it'll curl up, and we would not have the damage to actually deal with it. So, are we happy with giving up these orbs? We're probably gonna get a cool-headed and a zap next turn. So maybe I can just evoke all of this to deal 17 this turn. Sure, let's just go with that. But oh, I just can't count. I can just kill it. That is much easier than well. We're not creating any statuses, unfortunately. There's not a... Well, there's the turbo, not worth the smokestack. Momentum strike, deal 13 damage, reduces cards, cost to 0. Not what we're doing. Ball lightning, also not interesting. Just gonna skip. A shop, we're very happy to actually enter a shop here because we can remove another thing. And I think we're very interested in the capacitor, actually. That means we're not going to remove a card, though. Is that an issue? Gaining 3 orb slots in this deck seems very useful. Are we interested in a scavenge, a single scavenge? I think we are. I think we definitely are. Exhausting a card. Yeah, we can get rid of maybe a defend or strike. How often are we going to have those in our hand, though, realistically? We're definitely going to grab the capacitor. 21, exhaust a card, gain 2 next turn. We don't really need that much energy, I feel. Feels like we don't need a big burst of energy right now. So I think we're just going to skip here. Do we want any of these just in case? Do we want another go for the eyes? I think we might want another go for the eyes. There's 2 enemies coming up in this boss fight, and having a 0 cost attack to kind of turn around could be extremely useful. I think we're just gonna pick up another one of these. All right, I'm gonna proceed. We are gonna smith. I think realistically we do just want to do the go for the eyes. 2 of those upgraded, apply a bunch of weak, yeah, and then we are going to take on the giant enemy crab. 2 claws, crusher, and rocket. We are going to want to turn around, try to apply weak as much as possible. Yeah, here we're going to start with cool-headed. That will give us the frost that we need. We can hailstorm. Now we already have enough to block if I simply go for the eyes over here. And now do we want to turbo to strike and zap? I think that is unnecessary. The more we can delay drawing the voids, the better, I think. And at some point we're gonna use this Heart of Iron for sure. I'm just gonna use the Strength Potion, honestly. We don't have that many attacks. At some point we might use it on a Hyper Beam. Yeah. So here we have a good example of why Go for the Eyes is great. These are always gonna attack. Someone is always gonna attack, and we always want to turn around. So we are just gonna go for the eyes. Now, both of these are weak, and we can probably actually draw through our deck reasonably fast and then just always keep redrawing into our Go for the Eyes to always keep the weakness up. Very happy with that. We are going to cool-headed. We want to get our capacitor. going. Unfortunately, we didn't get it here, but we can get all the... we might still draw it. We didn't. But next turn, we have Defend, we have Capacitor, so we can just kind of get all the orb slots we need. I'm not going to play Chill this turn then. I think I'm just going to leap. Hitting us for 17. I will be going up to 16, take 1 this turn. That is perfectly acceptable. And as long as we have these frosts channeled, we have a hailstorm going that will just kind of help with dealing damage every turn. This turn we did not have any weakness on this one, nor do we have a way to turn around right now. That's a little sad. This might be a turn to just play the Heart of Iron. Next turn, this one will do a big attack. We can dual cast our Frost for a total of 10 block, 10, 15, 20. That's enough to block, so we don't need to use the Heart of Iron actually. That means we're also not going to use the Shatter, therefore we are just going to dual cast, defend, Capacitor, get all the orb slots, not take any damage here, and be fine with that. We're frail this turn. Big hit coming here from Rocket, but we can weaken it. We can actually weaken it twice, but I think we're probably going to weaken here, then we're going to weaken here. Yeah, and then we'll see what we do. So, weaken here, then turn back around. 24 incoming. We're going to channel a glass probably, but we're going to start with a cool-headed. Hyper Beam, not very interested, but we can get a lot of frost now. I think here we're just going to do it. Get the glass work too. Focus Strike. And now we are going to gain a total of 12 block, blocking most of the incoming damage. Do I use the Heart of Iron here? I don't think we need to do that. We're very slow in terms of actually dealing damage, so we need something to kind of capitalize on this. Right now it's all very defensive, but it's working out okay. Once again, we have to turn around. We have 3 different orbs, so we might as well draw 3 cards from this. And then this turn we might... see, 14 incoming. I think at this point we can probably afford to play a turbo, and that will allow us to cool-headed. Should have obviously done that differently, but that's okay. Now we can go for the eyes here. We're gonna play 1 zap. We have plenty of block here, so we might as well just strike and leave. Alright, once again we can go for the eyes, apply more weakness. Potentially we're just going to apply more over here. We can draw some cards from Compile Driver, we can draw some cards from Cool Headed. We are likely to draw into a Void this turn, so let's see here. Do we want more glass? Yeah, I think we definitely want some more glass. So we're first going to spend our resources just to make sure that the Void doesn't hurt us too bad. There it is. That's fine though. Not going to take any damage here, so we might as well... Do we need anything here? No, we're happy to actually draw right through these other than the turbo. And since we're gaining so much, I'm just going to hit right here. So yeah, happy to just discard all of these. We're going to need them a little later, but not right now. Which means next turn we can potentially play the turbo if we need it. So yeah, it's a very steady War of Attrition kind of deck, but it's doing that pretty well, I think. The Hyper Beam is just not really, not a good draw at the moment because we're doing a lot of orb things, but it really carried us through the early game. But yeah, it'll just fall off now. Happy to pick up a Go for the Eyes and do that right here. Not a very exciting turn, but gaining some focus is definitely good. Then we're just going to defend. Take a little bit of damage here. We're going to take 3, 6, 9, 14. Take a total of 7 damage. No, that's fine. Alright. Let's see. We can potentially draw into a go for the eyes. We have some draw here. Yeah, we can draw 5 cards here, so let's just start with that. Yeah, we're gonna go cool-headed. We're gonna go cool-headed again, I think. Our glass is already depleted, so we just want to get rid of it anyway. And that way we will always draw into a go for the eyes, make this weak again. Next turn we probably want to see if we can't get another go for the eyes to weaken this one, because it's going to do a big attack again. But that should be okay. I do want to get the zap going, because then we can actually dual cast it pretty soon. So yeah, let's do that. Not going to take any damage here, and now we can see if maybe we can actually finish off a rocket. Actually, we can just kill both of them, I think. If we shatter and then hyper beam, that should actually kill them both. If shatter kills one of them here, unfortunately, but that's fine. We're just going to try. Okay, that's perfect. And now we can just hyper beam. And that's it. Extremely clean. Very, very, very clean. We're going to pick up this fish oil. Didn't even have to use our Heart of Iron. Alright, we do not want a second hyper beam. Machine learning, yes. Now that is what we're talking about. Consuming Shadow is also very good. Channeling 3 dark, and then at the end of our turn evoking our leftmost orb. But drawing an additional card, and this is innate to... That's just what we want. That is absolutely perfect. We're returning to this run after a short break. So here we are now in Act 3. Let's pick up our relic. Do you find it strange that your fellow constructs want you dead? Thanks, Vaku. The Vaku offers are always a little cursed. Let's see here. Blood-soaked Rose. Add 1 enthralled to your deck. Gain an energy at the start of each turn. Enthralled. If this is in your hand, it must be played before other cards. Eternal. Not excited about that. Yeah, gaining the extra energy at the start of each turn is very good. But the enthralled, if we had picked up a thing that... Seer Talon. Add 2 random curses and 3 wishes to your deck. Not interested. The Jeweled Mask. At the start of combat, put a random power from your draw pile into your hand. It's free to play, though. This would basically means we will always... This is always innate, so we'll have it... We'll always start with a Capacitor or the Hailstorm for free. That's definitely the best option here. None of these are super exciting, but we'll go with a Jeweled Mask. Had I known this, I might have picked up the other power at the end of the last act, but that's okay. Our deck is looking pretty good. We have a lot of survivability with Go for the Eyes, twice upgraded. We draw a lot of cards with Machine Learning, and the Bag of Preparation, the Compile Driver, the Cool-Headed. The Hailstorm gives us a bit of inevitability because we have a lot of ways to channel our Frost Orbs, which in turn also give us a lot of block over the course of a game. What we do want to pick up is the card that costs 0 and gives us some focus for a turn, because that'll work really well with our extra orb slots and everything. And then we want something with a little bit of oomph, because right now combat is very, very, very slow. The Hyper Beam and the Shatter have fallen off a little, but they might be useful if we find something to, for example, channel a lot of lightning or a lot of dark and then shatter all of that. We're going to be fighting the Doorkeeper. I've not actually fought the Doorkeeper on this patch yet. So interested to see how that's gonna go. Let's chart our course. Lots of little hallway fights here. Not excited about that or that or that. So let's have a look at the right, shall we? Hopefully this is gonna go better after the first couple of, let's see, this is okay. This is okay. Okay, I'm liking the look of, for example, something like this, because then we can also hit a shop at the end. Alternatively, excuse me, something like this, but we're not gonna hit a shop that way. Our only shop is here. And I'm not really interested in going through there. So we're gonna go to the right. Then here we're gonna hit our first decision point, probably go to the left. And then from there, we might head straight or to the right. And then go through here. Consider hitting another elite. Hit the shop. And then get to the boss. That seems fairly good. Alright, let's get to it. Let's devoted sculptor here. And yeah, look, we have a fistful of cards. We're always gonna play the capacitor because it's free. We're always gonna play the machine learning because it's good. We're always gonna play go for the eyes because it's also good. We might as well play the chill, get rid of it, don't redraw it. Play the glass work. A lot of setup this turn. Gain a little bit of focus, that's fine. Caw, and then we're gonna probably do hailstorm, something like cool-headed, some kind of block probably. Let's start with the cool-headed. Yeah, we have a bunch of defense. We really want to get rid of these silly old defenses, but we'll see what we can do there. Maybe they will find a way to upgrade it. I don't know. Taking a tiny amount of damage this turn because we only have little defenses here. We're once again going to go for the eyes. We have 3 different orbs channeled, so we might as well compile driver. That'll shuffle our deck. And then we can glasswork, can cool-headed, go for the eyes. So yeah, we're cycling through our deck real fast. And once we have all of these orbs set up, we really just want a way to push them all out. So something that will channel like X Lightning, that's gonna be really good here, I think. Don't want to shatter everything. I might just dual cast the lightning though. Am I taking any damage this turn? A tiny amount, but nothing to really worry about. Yeah, I'm gonna dual cast. I can just turbo, honestly. Turbo, play defend. Yeah. Uh, 22 this turn. So yeah, this enemy is just gonna forever be weak. If we fight a single enemy, we can just keep that weakness up virtually forever. Do some frost, do some leaping. We have 2, 4, yeah, we're gonna do focus strike, regular strike. And we just want to make sure to push our glass out, so that's also a little annoying. We drew our void, that's fine. We can go 29 this turn. With a cool-headed, we're gonna gain a little bit. With a focus strike, we're gonna gain a little bit. And then with a leap, we're gonna gain a little bit. And then we're gonna go for the eyes and shatter, and that's it. So yeah, we have a very easy time surviving, and now it's just a matter of, yeah. Do we want another turbo? Do we want a barrage? 25 damage? It's not very good, I think. It's gonna make combat a little faster. I'm interested in trying it. I've not tried Barrage yet. I'll just see how it performs. I think we're on a good route to actually beat Beat this turn, so. Hungry for mushrooms. How long has it been since you ate? Wait, what's that fantastic smell? Following the scent, you reach a cozy campground with all manner of tasty mushrooms being cooked. You don't consider the safety of eating these mushrooms because you're so hungry. So hungry that you don't notice the dead adventurer. Big mushroom. Draw 2 of your cards at the start of each combat. Raise your maximum HP by 20. That doesn't hurt us too much because we have we have the what is it called? The bag of preparation. But I think we'd rather just upgrade 2 random cards. We have a bunch of cards that we'd like upgraded. We wouldn't even mind if a defend got upgraded because we're not going to be able to get rid of them. We just don't want this strike to get upgraded. So of course it is going to be. Oh, that's Shatter and Hyper Beam. The 2 cards that we're probably going to use very little from now on, but now they're maybe a little more viable. Together they're like 49 AoE damage. That's fine. You sample the fragrant one, a small woody mushroom with a delicate scent of shellfish. A burst of energy spurs you to run, jump, and rigorously train. Then a sudden stabbing pain hits you as the living fungi struggles within you during its brief final moments. Delicious. Let's see. The self-help book. On the floor lies a tome. Top 3 ways to conquer the Spire. The book is encrusted with blood, so you find its manuscript highly suspicious. Will you read it? So we can either make something. Yeah, we're probably gonna go for the Swift. That will just help us go through our deck even faster. And we have a bunch of powers. Machine Learning is the safe bet because we're always gonna start with it, and we're gonna draw 2 more cards. However, on the first turn, we also don't really need to. And one of these we are always going to put into our hand with a jeweled mask, and it will be free. I think, therefore, I should probably go for one of these. And I think I'm going to go for the capacitor. So this way, sometimes on the first turn we'll have a 0 mana or 0 energy draw 2, which is good. And sometimes we'll have that at a later turn when we're actually going to need it more. So, yeah. What an engrossing read. Some choice quotes remain fresh in your mind. Avoid big monsters. Take every card. Blocking is for cowards. Your hands are covered in blood. Good advice here. So yeah, the capacitor in our opening hand, meaning we can draw 2 cards. So yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if we can kind of just get through the whole deck in absolutely no time at all. We're gonna go for the eyes over here, make it weak. Now we only have to block 6 more damage. We're gonna start with the capacitor, draw 2 cards. We have a Hyper Beam and a Shatter. How much is that? Not quite enough to kill them both. This is 15 plus 8 to one of them for 23, plus another 34. 23 plus 34 is 57. That's killing this one, and is almost killing this one. I mean, oh, it actually didn't, but it doesn't matter. We're not going to take any damage, and then they're going to basically die to the thorns. So, sometimes you don't need to do math. We are not interested in the explosive ampoule, so do we want another capacitor? I just say yes, why not? Now, of course, in our opening hand, sometimes we draw into the capacitor that, you know, doesn't draw us cards, but our fights are running long. We can continuously channel into our cool-headed. So now really we just need 1 or 2 more things. Oh, discount relics, lovely. At the start of each combat, heal 1 HP. Start each combat with 4 block. Whenever you enter a rest site, start the next combat with an additional energy. I think this is good. Raise your max HP by 3, not interested. We do not want to start our combat confused, and we don't need to heal by 10%. We are gonna grab the Venerable Tea set, though. And then we are going to take a left and then probably take on 2 elites this act. We're going to Smith, of course. There is a consideration to actually also upgrade the chill so that we can do that repeatedly, given how fast we go through our deck. Is there anything else that we really want? Turbo is good because we draw a lot of cards now. So I think maybe that is good. Barrage, of course, if we have all of our orbs filled, that's a ton of damage. But I think we're just going to go for the turbo now. Then we're going to get another relic and some gold. The Gorget at the start of each combat gain 4 plating. Fantastic. We'll just survive even longer. And then I think we are going to hit this elite. The Mecha Knight, that's perfectly fine. So we draw 2 cards here. We draw some cards here. 25. We'll gain 4 from... Did I? I did it again. This is incredible. Can you believe that? Can you absolutely believe that? That I just keep skipping relics. I even... Moving on. We're going to machine. We're going to play cool-headed. We're going to keep a cool head. We're going to play the capacitor. We're going to play a leap. And that is all we need, so we might as well zap here. Oh, this is just... This is embarrassing, is what it is. This enemy has 3 artifact, so... Yeah, we're probably not going to be able to apply a lot of Go for the Eyes. Ultimately, I think that's probably just going to be fine. We're probably going to turbo this turn. We're going to be able to draw 2 cards. Let's first see what we draw here. We have the Barrage. It's going to deal 20 damage right now, but we can actually glass work. And then Barrage. Okay, I think the Barrage might have been a good pickup. And then we're just going to go for the Eyes, because why wouldn't we? Not going to turbo. We don't care. Gonna get some burns here. That's okay. Still not attacking, so we're just gonna play a Go for the Eyes, get it out of our hand. We're gonna play the Hailstorm for sure. We can gain some more orb slots. We're gonna chill. We're gonna cool-headed. We're gonna cool-headed. Now look at how cool we are. That's a lot of orb slots, I have to say. Alright, it's gonna hit us for 40. We're not gonna be able to remove the artifact. We can shatter all of these orbs, but we can actually barrage pretty hard. So we're gonna go for the Eyes, get rid of one of the artifacts. We're gonna leap. We are gonna defend. And we are going to deal 40 with a barrage. We probably don't want to evoke all of these. That's fun. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10 for a total of 27. Gonna take 13. We might as well use this then. Just minimize the damage that we're taking. Would have been cool to have a Gorget here too. You know. Wow, no card draw whatsoever. Oh yeah. I guess we had it all front-loaded a little bit this turn. Not gonna be an issue. We're just gonna zap and strike and focus strike, and now at least we're gonna deal a good amount of lightning. Getting some burn here. Not gonna be much of an issue. We're gonna go for the Eyes. We can dual cast here, but first we're gonna... Yeah, we should dual cast first. Cool-headed. Yeah, not very interesting. We're gonna glass. And then we're just gonna leap. We're gonna not take any burn damage. filter all of these out into the discard pile, slowly but surely whittle down the Mechanite. Once again, big hit coming in. We can deal 45 damage with a barrage. That's nice. We can draw 3 cards. We can draw another card. Do we have a void in the draw pile? We do not, but we can draw into the turbo. So we're gonna start by drawing 3. Still can't go for the eyes, unfortunately. Gonna cool-headed. Sadly, we didn't draw into the turbo, but that's... yeah, that's a little annoying. We're gonna take one pretty massive hit here, unless we actually shatter. If I barrage and shatter, that is gonna be a lot of blocks. So I think we're actually gonna... that is gonna be enough block to block all of this damage. What are we drawing next turn? Turbo, focus strike, zap, defend, defend. Not very good. I think we're just gonna accept that we're going to take a reasonably big hit here. And take it a little slow. That's okay. We can take one. Painful, but what can you do? Because now we can zap, and glasswork, and focus strike. Deal a little bit of damage again. And then kill it next turn. Now we can shatter, just for fun. Alright, that's fine. The Courier. The merchant no longer runs out of cards, relics, or potions since his prices are reduced by 20%. Would have been fantastic to pick up like 2 acts ago. Now we're still gonna find one. Chaos channel a random orb. Chaos plus channel 2 random orbs. At this point, is that interesting? It might actually be interesting here. Our deck is getting a little chunky here. How many more card rewards do we have? Not many more. We're gonna pick up 1 Chaos. I'm just trying out some cards now. We'll see how it all goes. We can smith here, and I think we're gonna smith the Chaos. Yeah, we're gonna take on another elite. Yeah, I was thinking these were probably gonna show up. I think we are probably fine to take them on. That being said, I think I am going to use the fish oil in this fight. We'll up the damage from our shatters and whatnot a little bit from the barrage, so that's going to be useful. We don't have the thing that draws us cards. We have the chill though, that's wonderful, so we can actually capacitor, can chill, gain all of these. We can cool-headed. We can go for the eyes on the big one. We're always gonna play machine learning. Yeah, we're gonna play cool-headed. Yeah, we don't need these defends. We're just gonna go barrage and hailstorm. That's gonna deal 30 to someone. We do want to get rid of the Spectral Knight first, I think. The Magi Knight removes upgrades. That is also kind of annoying because we are... yeah, I think maybe actually here we are gonna try to first take out the Magi Knight. Okay. So now all of our cards are ethereal. So if they're in our hand at the end of turn, they are exhausted. That's a little annoying because we drew our Hyper Beam, and we can't really afford to lose that focus. That's a little rough. We're gonna go for the eyes on the Spectral Knight. Can we afford to Hyper Beam? That would basically mean all of our frost is entirely useless. That's not Great. Yeah, that kind of just defeats the purpose of all of our... yeah, we might just have to have it etherealize and play the other cards. What do we want to get rid of? We probably would just want to lose the defend. So we are going to play Zap, Defend, and Focus Strike. And we're going to Focus Strike down... I think, yeah, we're going to go for the Magi Knight. Hopefully next turn we can kill it. Yeah, my upgrades are no more, unfortunately. But let's see what we can do here. The capacitor draws us 2 cards. We have to be a little careful with drawing too many cards. Because we are going to lose some of them. But we are happy to lose the strikes. So we do actually want to get those. And we have turbo to take care of that. So let's start with that. Okay, we got 1 strike. We can draw 1 more card with Cool-Headed. Alternatively, we can draw 2 cards with Compile Driver. If we first play Glasswork, we can actually draw 3. But we don't want to draw 3 because we might draw into the void, right? Unless we turbo after. Okay, yeah, we're gonna Glasswork. Then we're going to Compile Driver on this one. Okay, we got Chaos. Oh, we have the Barrage. That hits for a ton this turn. So we're always going to turbo. And then we can do... What is that? 6 times 7. So 42 damage here. Do we just kill the Magi Knight? We're going to take a lot of damage this turn, but all of them are going to hit us. So we're going to kill this one, get our upgrades back. And then I think we are going to leap to block all of the damage. And then we'll have to have all of these etherealize. I think we're just going to channel 2 random orbs. Got a dark, we got a lightning. Yeah, that's okay. Goodbye cards, and now we have to really take care of the Spectral Knight with a few cards remaining in our deck. But I think we should be able to do that. We're gonna go for the eyes. We're gonna Focus Strike it. Do we want to Shatter? Do all of these orbs and then Zap and Cool-Headed? Yeah, I don't mind that. Oh yeah, that just takes care of that, basically. There we are. Okay. Oh, look! What? No, I didn't. What? I never missed that. I didn't know. I picked that up. Absolutely, absolutely. Gonna pick up the lightning rod, whatever. Okay, we're not gonna pick up any more cards. If anyone sees me picking up any more cards, please call me out on this. Okay, this one will deal 6 to us whenever we play a power. That's mildly annoying, I have to say. Especially in this hand where we do not have any goddamn block. Did I fuck up again? Well, at least we have a little bit of block here. So we're just gonna chill. We're gonna go for the eyes, take 9. And then I guess we're just maybe not gonna play any powers, huh? Can draw some cards, we can gain some focus. Sure. Defend and 1 power is something we can do, and that will give us just some... Yeah, that'll give us just some damage, so that way we're not gonna take damage. Do we want Machine Learning or Hailstorm? I think we just want the Hailstorm. Alright, I also gain... I can also play the Capacitor then. Alright. Because the first power gives us a little bit of... where is that thing? The Permafrost gives us 7 block, so... Alright, we're gonna start with a Cool-Headed. Unfortunately, we did not draw into any of our go for the eyes, but it's still weak. It's actually fine. We are probably gonna... Well, we're a little frail right now. Let's Chaos. Okay, gain a little bit more Frost, so it's 6. I'm gonna take some damage here, but if we defend... That'll be most of it. The Gorget will take care of the rest. And then the Thorns are once again doing some work here. Okay. This should be fairly straightforward. We can glass work, cool-headed, go leap, and that's 15, that's fine. And then we go lightning rod, and then we're gonna start pushing our orbs out, which is nice. Once again, we're gonna go for the eyes. We can draw 4 cards now. That is lovely. Gonna hit us for 11. That is irrelevant. So at this point, we might as well do this. Gain some more of these. Then we can dual cast this one. 36. Focus strike. And then end turn. And now it's dead. Swift Potion, draw 3 cards. That can be very useful, I think. Hey, remember when I said I'm not going to add any more cards into my deck? I lied. But which one am I taking? Double energy or white noise? Because I love them both. No, I'm going to skip. Look at me. I have so much willpower. I'm just going to skip this elite. We don't need it. We're just going to go here. Let's see. We definitely don't want to bulk up. We don't want to skim. We don't want to... Oh, it's just for this turn, though. That's a little unfortunate. I was hoping it was just gain some focus. What else do we have here? Play any attacks? Nope. Study to elite combat? Nope. Every 3 turns gain some stuff? Nope. Do we have good potions here? Gain 2... Oh, hello. Goodbye. Snecko oil. Hello. Focus potion. None of these cards are very interesting. I will simply remove my strike here. Woe indeed. Woe indeed. Do we want any of these over draw 3? Gain a random power? I think maybe that's actually better. We're gonna get the power potion. We have something to do on the first turn then. Good setup. And now we have one more rest site. We can upgrade one of our cards. Probably just the barrage. Just speed things up a little bit. Alright. And here we have the Doorkeeper. On the first turn, we have all the time in the world to do setup, which is reasonable. Unfortunately, not a great setup turn because we don't have a lot to do. But we can get rid of the chill already. We can do machine learning, hailstorm. We are gonna zap. Chill. We might as well go for the eye. It doesn't do anything, but whatever. Alright, and we do want to get a power. We're gonna go for the capacitor. Get more orb slots. That sounds great. And then... I mean, we're gonna use all of these potions anyway. Might as well do it now. Alright. And then we can summon forth the Door Maker. Hunger. Whenever you play an attack or skill, it is exhausted. So this turn, we have to be very, very careful with our attacks and skills. Yeah, this is... Oof. This is a little rough now. We might... We really don't want to get rid of the cool-headed. We are going to play this Defend. That's okay to exhaust, I feel. Do we want to get rid of the Focus Strike? I think these two we can get rid of. we could get rid of the shatter, but no. We're going to do this, and we're going to do this. Do we want to get rid of one go for the eyes? I think we can. Just to minimize damage this turn. Yeah, and then we are going to say go. Alright, Scrutiny. You cannot draw additional cards during your turn. Okay, so that's fine because none of these... Well, the Cool-Headed would draw some cards, but that's okay. And also the Capacitor. Well, maybe this is not great. But we can do Lightning Rod. We can do Glass Work. We can do Defend. Block all the damage. And yeah, we might as well channel an additional... Or do we want to do Capacitor this turn instead of Cool-Headed? What are we drawing into? Okay, we are going to draw a lot of cards with the Compile Driver, most likely. So I think we are just going to set up another Capacitor. Just get all of our slots ready. We are going to get a Lightning Rod, so yeah. Okay, Grasp. Whenever you play a card, lose an energy. Wow, that is quite mean. So we're definitely gonna leap. So we can play 2 cards this turn, so we are going to leap. It was 14 plus another 4 for 18. And then we could barrage for 35 here. Alternatively, we could set up even more orb slots, but I don't think we need to. Let's just deal some damage now. Okay. And now next turn, I think we're going to go back to the whole... yeah. Whenever you play an attack or skill, it is exhausted. This Doormaker is definitely a little tricky for an attrition-based deck. Because these turns are very, very rough. We do want to set up our things, but we can't really set up our things, you know? Because everything will just be exhausted, other than the Capacitor. We can exhaust the defense, that's okay, but we need something to deal a little bit of more damage here. We might do the Lightning Rod. Other than that, I think we can do the Glass Work. But we are taking a lot of damage this turn. Wow, this is a little rough, I have to say. Let's see if we can make it. Do we want to play the Lightning Rod? Let's play the Lightning Rod. Take minimal damage here. Well, a little bit of damage here. But retain all of these cards for later. And hopefully the lightning and everything will get us there. Okay, so now no extra card draw. That is perfectly fine this turn. We could Chaos and Barrage and defend and defend. We lost some strength, but that's fine. So yeah, let's Chaos. Getting some more glass. Barrage. And then just defend as much as we can. We are running out of frost, and that is unfortunate. We definitely have to draw into our Cool-Headed on a turn where we can actually draw cards. Sadly, that is not going to be this turn. Let's see. Can go for the eyes. Turbo will still gain us a bunch of energy, so that's nice. So let us start by turboing. We can play 3 cards here that are not go for the eyes, so we could go Cool-Headed, Capacitor. Yeah, let's go Capacitor. Let's go Cool-Headed. And Leap. And yeah. Oh, and now we can actually also go for the eyes because we can't lose anymore, so... And now we are dealing a good amount of lightning and glass damage each turn. Okay, here we go with the good old hunger. How much damage can we deal? 45 plus another 20, 65 plus another 9, 74. Okay. We are gonna get rid of our defense here. And also our strike. Take some more damage here. It's gonna be a little tight. A little tight, I have to say. Okay, hitting us for 38, and we cannot draw additional cards. And we also cannot gain a lot of block, can we, huh? But I think we may have enough to kill it here, huh? Is that right? Yes, we do. Yes, we do. We can start with Chaos. Barrage. And then we can Shatter to finish it. All right. And we have successfully slain this Spire. How do you keep coming back? Is this Niao's doing? Random garbled lines. Foolish. Victory. Well, that was a fun little run. We were really missing a little bit of just damage. We had a lot of orb slots, but we had no way of like properly cycling through all of them. What we really needed was like something that would evoke X Lightning. I think we were offered that in the early game, and we didn't pick it up. And that definitely would have probably been a good pickup. The Hyper Beam and the Shatter carried us through the early game. That was really good, I feel. Obviously, the Hyper Beam is almost entirely useless in these like boss battles, but I think it's still a very good like early game card to just finish off those little encounters where you would otherwise lose just a lot of health in the process. So very happy with the Hyper Beam, and everything was just like kind of, you know, a lot of little effects that just kind of accumulate. Very grindy for sure. Very, very grindy. But yeah, that was reasonably successful. Were there any cards that I probably should not have picked up? The Focus Strike early on was decent. It was just basically a replacement for one of our strikes. I actually think all of the cards that we picked up were reasonable pickups, and just at the end it was probably pretty unnecessary to pick up even more cards, but the Barrage actually carried us through at the end there. Without the Barrage, we would not have made it past the Doorkeeper, so definitely a good decision to get that. So yeah, that does it for today's run. I hope you had a good time. I hope you learned something about what to do, what not to do. To always pick up your relics when you find them. Don't hit the skip button until you have picked up whatever is in those chests. And yeah. All right. And I will see you all next time back in the Spire. Share, like, and subscribe if you enjoyed what you saw. And yeah, see you around.